Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the QQCatalyst What's New webinar, a joint presentation by Netview, the network of Vertipore users, and QQCatalyst. My name is Brittany Brockman, and I'm Netview's Education Coordinator. I'm joined today by Dickinson Marin, Product Manager at Vertipore. I do want to start off with discussing some housekeeping. You are all muted, but we would love to hear your questions and concerns. Please feel free to type out your questions into the question box located on the GoToWebinar panel on the right-hand side of your screen, and we'll get to them as time permits at the end of the webinar. Also, just a reminder that this session is being recorded, and a copy of the recording, along with the Q&A, will be sent to all registered attendees once the recording has been edited and placed into Netview's learning management system, Netview University. This notice will include instructions for you to get access to this valuable resource offered by your users group. I will now turn it over to your presenter. Dickinson, take it away.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for What's New in QQCatalyst version 4.4. Again, as Brittany noted, the phone lines have been muted to eliminate any background noise. However, we do have plenty of time allotted for our Q&A session at the end of today's webinar, so we always give you enough time for us to go through not only the questions concerning the things that we're looking at now, but as well as all the features that were released in the past. We'll be happy to answer those questions for you. Let me get my monitor up here. We have a couple of things to discuss today. First, we're going to go over the things that we have added to this latest release, as well as the things that we've added in the last 3 releases. We have updated our release cadence from 10 weeks down to 3 weeks. We're just releasing things a little bit faster to try to get both enhancements and new features to you even sooner. So we'll go over a couple of those things, and then we'll leave the floor open for Q&A to answer any of your questions. One of the first things we want to talk about is Netview. I do thank Brittany for being on with us. Netview, for those of you who don't know, is a network of Vertipore users. Anyone using a Vertipore product is part of this extensive network. It really does allow you to collaborate with your peers, exchange knowledge, and grow your network. For those of you who are not on the Netview forum right now, I highly recommend that you get on. Practically everything that we're doing in terms of releases, as well as answering questions to discussion posts, best how-tos, as well as agency workflows, we're answering all of those right now in the community, whether that's going to be a person like me in product management, or having someone like Sophia Sweetland, the head of our support division, be there answering questions for you as well. The other very powerful piece with Netview is being able to collaborate with your own peers. So you may be looking for an answer to a question that your peers already know about QQCatalyst, and you guys can collaborate together. One of the things that I recently saw there was a post by Debbie Ivy, who is an employee at Netview, who are answering questions concerning where can I find training information in QQ, as well as one of the webinars that we have, which is a Q&A training session that we have now every Friday. People were asking, hey, where is that training session? And Debbie was able to point them into that direction. So if you do not have right now credentials for the Netview community, where you can be part of the QQCatalyst discussion board, I highly recommend that you send an email to info, that's info, I-N-F-O, at Netview, Netvu.org, for them to send you your credentials. Again, that's info at Netview, Netvu.org, to have your credentials set up. One of the features that we've released is the employee productivity. Employee productivity will allow the agency administrator to view actionable insights on your employee activities. For a very long time, we received requests asking for agencies to be able to report on employee activity. Now you have that ability. I'll show you where that feature is and how you're going to be able to use it. The employee time clock was released a couple of weeks ago, allowing agency administrators to monitor the clock in and clock out activity of each of their employees, also being able to view the current status of each employee. And I'll show you through how to use that feature. We did add Accord Form versioning in Catalyst, giving you access to the most recent version of an Accord Form, as well as the 2 previous versions, just in case the carrier that you're working with is not using the latest version. We've also updated the endorsement tab to include all adjustments. That would be not only from the moment the policy is issued, but any cancellations and any audits, any endorsements, all of that information will now show up in one tab, so you don't have to go fishing for it. We did make an update to the email integration feature, allowing you to send every single email, including bulk jobs, directly from QQCatalyst, just in case the spam filters for your customer's email provider has gotten so high that your emails cannot reach them. I'll walk you through what we went through to get that feature to you. And then we're going to work on the Q&A portion at the end of today's webinar. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to type them in to the GoToWebinar window. At the end, we will answer every single question that you guys have for us. All right, let's go ahead and get Catalyst open. So I'm going to walk through the changes that we've made in no particular order. For my commercial people, one of the first things that we've done is added in garage policy details. If you now go to your details tab, this is available for garage and dealers. It's also available for garage keepers' legal liability. You now have a details tab where you can put in your garage coverage information. It goes to the premises information, coverages, the type of operation that you have, the drivers that may be licensed to drive vehicles, whether it's for a car dealership or a repair shop, and the premises information. And then you can enter remarks. This does map to the garage accord forms. That includes the garage application and their certificate of garage insurance, the certificate for that form. So you guys do now have garage keepers' legal liability and garage and dealers policy details. Let's go over to the employee productivity piece. If you hover over the more, you're going to see employee productivity. Now again, this feature was designed to give you more insight into your employees' activities. So this came right after we did the employee time clock. The very first thing that people wanted to know was, well, Dickinson, I'd like to understand what my employees are doing throughout the day, but I can't gauge productivity unless I know how much time they're actually spending in the management system. So let's talk about the second leg first, the employee productivity. By default, you're going to see this as yesterday. You can go back to through 90 days or the past year. So let's go the past year for now. And what we're doing is we're showing you the activities that have been logged by your employee. Now, not every single thing that's been done. We did ask our agencies, what specifically did you want to know? How are you going to gauge your employees' productivity? They told us it was going to be based on the customers that were added, how many updates were made to customer accounts, the prospects that were added, how many updates were made to those prospects' accounts, how many policies were added and updates to the policy accounts, how many tasks were completed, how many accord forms were added, how many files were added, text messages sent, emails sent, notes added, payments received, and invoices created. Okay? Now, we have received requests for additional ones, and those are on our roadmap of things to do. But for now, these are the ones that when we ask, what exactly do you mean by productivity, this is what the agencies told us. So we're going to show you the total number of hours logged, in this case for all employees, but you can filter for the specific employee you're looking for. Now let's go down to the productivity leader section. You can use these graphs to point you towards what's happening in terms of productivity. So in this case, me as an employee, I've logged 292 hours here. The very next employee has 101 hours. So by all accounts, I should be number one on every single chart here that's being tracked. But as you can see, although I've logged 292 hours, the number of customers added between me and the employee that logged 47 hours is the same. Now I've updated a lot more customers than everybody else, but that same employee that logged 47 hours has updated more prospects than I have. I've updated more prospects, policies added. It just allows you to see, wait a second, this employee, while they're working 3 times as much, isn't getting half as much done compared to my next employee, helping you, again, to gain insights into employee productivity. Every single tile that's listed up here, you do have information on the chart for each one of those. Okay. Now, this is showing you your top 4 employees in each category. So if you have 15 employees, you're only going to see the top 4 in each category. What you can do, if you'd like to see who's the top in every category, regardless of the number of employees you have, what you're going to do is click on this compare button here. And now we're showing you the table view for all employees across all categories. And you can sort based on the category that's most important to you at the moment. So in the case that you wanted to see how many people have sent the most emails in the management system, you're going to click on emails sent, and we'll sort that for you. And you'll be able to come over and see which employee has sent the most emails. Now, I do understand that there are a lot of you that like to work in Excel with pivot tables and things, so you can elect to copy this information. have it export to a CSV or to an Excel spreadsheet, and then you can work with it in Excel. So returning back to the Employee Productivity Suite, you just click on Employee Productivity, and you'll be right back where you started. Now, there are a couple of things that you can do directly from the employee comparison screen. If you wanted to see which policies were updated, right here where it says Policy Updates, just click on that number. I'm going to right-click to open a new tab. We're going to take you to the Employee Contact, and there is now a Productivity tab. This tab is logging every single change to a contact or policy made in the management system. So in the case that you wanted to see what that person has been doing, all you have to do is come over to the Productivity tab, and you'll see specifically the contact that was being modified or the policy that was being modified. So in this case, I'm on the policy category, but I'm going to switch this back to all. And all this is an accumulation of every single log entry that's being created on all contacts and policies, but we're putting it on each employee, the work that that person did. And you can type to search and filter down. So if you're looking for anything that says update, you'll be able to filter down and see everything that has updated in the description. So that's the employee productivity piece. Now let's go over to the employee time clock. The employee time clock was absolutely necessary for the employee productivity because it wouldn't matter that one employee updated 500 customers and another employee updated 250. It's how many did they update in the given amount of logged in time. So we needed to track how long each user was logged into the management system. The first thing that we did was go to Global Preferences and put in sub-statuses for the time clock, or what we like to call sub-outs. It's the reason why an employee would not be logged into the management system during a normal workday. That may be because of a lunch break, or there's an office meeting. So they're in the office, but they're not going to be using the system because they're in an office meeting. Or somebody went on a bank run, or went to Office Depot to pick up some supplies. Or if you have a scheduled amount of time, let's just say 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the afternoon for a lunch break. Or, I'm sorry, not a lunch break, but a walk outside break. You can put as many statuses in here as you'd like, and then you just need to tell us whether it's payable or not, because we're going to be tracking the total amount of time that they were in the management system, and whichever one of these that you put in as payable, we're going to mark off as payable, no matter how long the person is not in the system. So if they left the office at 12, if they logged in at 8 o'clock, they left the office at 12, but they went on a bank run for the agency, and they just grabbed lunch along the way, and then they came back in the office. Whenever you look at the summary, if they went from 8 o'clock all the way to 5 o'clock, when you look at the summary, we're going to show you as 9 hours total logged in and 9 hours of payable time. Because at the time that they were on lunch, you said that it was payable. So you can add as many statuses as you want, as well as remove any ones that no longer apply. Now, why is this important? Whatever you put in this field here, in this section, is going to show up when your employees go to log out. So if I hover over my name and come over to log out, I can just log out of the system. But if I want my agency administrator to know where I am or what I'm doing, I can specifically select that I'm out on lunch, or that I'm on a bank run, or that I'm on my morning break. So every employee should be using whatever statuses you've set up in your agency, at least to gain visibility for all of the agency administrators and office managers. Now, when they're logging out at the end of the day, you actually want them to log out. But if they're not logging out because they're leaving the office, you certainly want them to use one of the statuses that you set up. Now, for the agency administrators and managers, when you hover over more, you're going to go to the time clock. The time clock is showing you, as of the moment that you came to this page, what the current status is for each of your employees. So whether you went over to a conference, a convention, or if you're on vacation and you just want to look into the office to see who's currently clocked in, all you have to do is come over to this page, and we're going to show you every single person that's currently clocked into the management system. Now, we did not separate the action of logging in from the action of clocking in. Once you log into the system, we automatically clock you in. When you log out, we will automatically clock you out as well. So we're going to show you what the current status is for each employee, as well as how many hours they've logged so far today. By default, we're going to use today's date. You can go back as far as you'd like. You can elect to filter by location. by employee, and by status. So if you're looking for only the people that are clocked in, you can go ahead and click on clocked in here. Now let's go back a couple of weeks. Let's just say here my pay period starts and ends on every Thursday, which would be weird, but let's just say that was the case. I'm going to come here and say that my pay period, let's say it's the 29th, I'm going to say the 15th. So for the past 2 weeks, how many hours have been logged by each employee? You're going to see a total for each employee, and then what you're going to be able to do is click on this green arrow, because although we're showing you the past 2 weeks, you can see details day by day. The total number of hours worked by each employee. Now, it's very possible that somebody came in the office and forgot to log in, or you have somebody who's been working on quoting all day and they just didn't log in to Catalyst. What you can do is have it be so that everybody logs in to Catalyst, because you're going to be using this for monitoring hours worked, and then you can click edit here just in case they forgot to log in and they remember towards the end of the day. The system is showing 1.59 hours as the total payable, but in your mind, you're like, that's not true. The total is actually supposed to be 8 hours. The system logged 1.59, but it was really 8. They actually worked for 8 hours. And I'm just going to say here, forgot to log in. Now, we're going to keep what the system logged. The system still logged that it was 1.59 hours, but we are going to say that you overrode what the system said and you adjusted it by 6.41 hours for a total of 8 hours. So just in case there's a mistake, you can always correct it for what it's actually supposed to be. Wherever you see a clickable link, you can click, and we're going to show you the activity for the entire time that you were just looking for that 2-week period. We're going to show you when they clocked in, when they went to lunch, when they clocked out, the date and time, as well as the IP address of the device that was used to log in. Whatever information the browser sends us back, you will see that available here when you hover over the IP address. We've also included a time clock report. It is in the report section, or you can just click here, generate report. And I'm going to say here, let's go for the past pay period, the 15th through the 29th. You can do a specific employee or for all employees. By the way, for those of you who are uploading time clock information to ADP, this can be exported to an Excel spreadsheet if you're using that with an ADP site, and you can import that into ADP. So you can have it export as a PDF, or you can elect to make this a spreadsheet. I'll open up my other monitor here and open it up as a spreadsheet. Now, we did create a new permission for the employee time clock. I'm going to go to My Preferences, but you would go to the Employee Contact, just search for the employee, and in the Permissions tab, where the shifts permission was, we added the time clock and gave you the option of whether the employee should be able to view or edit the employee time clock. So as an agency administrator, you have full control over who's able to view as well as edit. The next thing we've done is the Accord form versioning. Now, we do realize that there are a bunch of Accord forms that we needed to update. Our development team has been working at a breakneck pace to get those Accord forms updated for you, and we've also added the Accord form versioning. So now when you go to an Accord form or the Accord form section, the library, you're going to see the most recent version of the Accord form that we have, as well as 2 versions previous. So 2 prior versions, just in case the insurance carrier or the MGA that you're working with does not accept the newer version of the form as of yet. As we get new updates, we'll update the newer form and leave the 2 previous versions in there for you. Another thing that was requested highly by our agents is when the state, in the case that a customer who you did absolutely right by, right? You recommended that they get umbrella coverage, you tried to round out their accounts, they declined all the way through, you've been documenting every single activity between you and your customer, then your customer turns around, has a loss, and blames your agency for not fully protecting them. What we've done is given you the ability, just in case that your information gets requested or subpoenaed by the state, to show that you've actually did request that. You can now go to the log tab of any contact and then click export. Okay? Now, it's important to note that we wanted to make sure that your integrity as an agency, as well as the management system, was protected in the case of any E&O. So we did not create this in a way where you can go in and manipulate the data. We wanted them to see that the email was coming directly from QQ Solutions, from your management system vendor, directly to whoever's requesting the information. So what you're going to do is put in the email address of the person that needs to see the log. So I'm going to go ahead and put my email address in there. And you can put multiple recipients separated by a comma or a semicolon, including yourself if you wanted to see the full log history in a spreadsheet. And it's going to send an email from the management system directly to that person or persons. We're also going to put in the Files tab a log or a history that we did create the log as of that time. So here's the log history recreated at that time. It is a spreadsheet. So in the case that you wanted to view it, you can view it. Here's the log of every single thing that has happened on that contact since inception. And again, you can send this directly from the management system. I would not recommend opening this file, downloading it, saving it to your computer, and emailing it from your own email address, because again, this information can easily be modified by a person. You want it to show that it came directly from us, the vendor, QQ Solutions. The next thing we've done is added folder support in QQCatalyst. You can now add folders to your Files tab. Wherever you have a Files tab on your contact for your customer prospect, you will be able to add a folder. So right here is the ability to add a folder, and here you also have the ability to add a file. We didn't get rid of this section as of yet. We're trying to get everybody used to being able to click on these buttons or dragging and dropping to the page without this being here. So this option will still be here for you, but you can click here to add a file. You can also click here to add a folder. Let's go ahead and add a new folder. Let's say this is the 17 to 18 marketing. And then click Save. That folder now appears in the Files tab. You see that there's a folder icon there. You can add files to this folder. So in the case that I went to, let's just say proposal prepared, policy proposal prepared, I'm going to select Add to Folder. There's my 17 to 18 marketing folder, and then click OK. And now if I click to view the folder, that file is now in this folder. If I'm in a folder and I would like to add files to a folder, all you have to do is leave the folder open. And let me go here to let me open my documents over here. What you're going to do is click the files that you'd like to add to the folder. So let's just say I took a bunch of inspection photos and a couple of PDFs, drag it over, click Continue. The files are going to be uploaded, but they're going to be associated to that folder. So I can click Next to update descriptions and everything, but we're going to show you here that it's part of the 1718 marketing folder. If that was a mistake, you can select the correct folder that it belongs to. Or in the case that you needed to create a new folder, you can click on this checkbox here and create a new folder while you're uploading the file. Once I click Finish, all of the files that I just uploaded are a part of that folder. To go back to the files, all you have to do is click here. We're back on the Files tab. There's my marketing folder. My files are inside the marketing folder. The next update that we've made is to the master certificates. Now, we did hear from a lot of our agencies that they can send, okay, I get how we're going to send master certificates out. I can send 1,000 certificates at one time via email, which is great. The only thing is I have to try to guess as to which certificate holders have an email address. We have made an update to that. So when you click Edit to come to the form, I'm going to show this to you when you're adding holders to the form as well as when you're just on the outside of the form. I have 194 holders on here. I'm clicking on Manage Certificate Holders. Any certificate holder with an email address, so either when you put it in manually or when you imported it, there was an email address, you're going to see an email icon there to the left. So I'm going to select this holder and I'm going to add an email address. Proof of insurance at cityofmiami.com. Once that email address is there, you're going to see the email window or the email icon. And click OK. When you go to email And this is one of the biggest things that our agents said to us. Hey, I don't know which ones have an email address when I go to email them. I only want to email the ones that have an email address on file. So now when you get the pop-up that lets you select the holders, there's an option that says select all with email. And then when you go to print, there's an option to say select all without email. So it's easy for you to go ahead and print the ones that need to be sent something via mail and easily select the ones that are going to be sent an email. Now, while it's going ahead and building up the email for me, one of the things for us to note is, remember, you do not have to add a cord 25 for every single holder that you're going to be sending a certificate to. You can have one certificate of insurance, have thousands of holders at a time. And then every single time you issue a certificate, we're going to add each holder certificate down in the history section. So in this case, I'm going to select all that have an email address. And then I'm going to say not only email each certificate holder their certificate, but I also like to send one big PDF to my customer so they have all the proof of insurance they need when they're going out to their jobs. And then you're going to have the email window open. It looks like I only had one holder that had an email address. So here's the master certificate that's going to the customer. It'll have every single holder on it. And then the city of Miami is going to receive their own certificate of insurance. One last thing I wanted to point out to you guys is the change that we've made to the QQCatalyst help site. Every single action that you can take in Catalyst has been documented for you in the Catalyst help. So if you hover over your name and go over to help, you'll find this brand new help site that we've just updated. All of the content has been updated to show you how to walk through all of the steps, whether creating an invoice, taking a payment, using the agency intelligence section. All of it has been done here for you. You can also go and register for the live training classes by clicking here on training. Everything that in terms of the most requested features have been put here for you. Customers and prospects, policies, the mailroom, downloads, building your own custom reports, viewing what's new to QQCatalyst. You can just type for what you're looking for here. I'm going to type in payment. And it's going to show you how to take a payment and apply it to a policy, enter a payment without applying a bill, how to void a payment, how to create a receipt. All of this has been updated for you. So in the case that you don't have time to watch any of the training videos and you just want to know how to do a quick how-to, feel free to go ahead and hover over your name, click on help, type the information into the search criteria, and you'll be able to walk through all of the instructions on how to complete that process will be documented for you, not only with step-by-step instruction, but also visuals. And that's what's new in QQCatalyst version 4.4. There are some new and exciting things that we're working on for you guys upcoming in our very next release. And this is very important for you guys to note. In our very next release, we are going to be releasing the sales pipeline in QQCatalyst. Now, anybody who's currently on the QMax Plan 4 or the QQ Professional Plan, you guys are going to automatically get access to the sales room. Everybody else who's going to want access to the sales room, if you subscribe to Agency Intelligence, this is going to be a feature that's part of the Agency Intelligence suite. If you are subscribed to the Agency Intelligence feature, you're going to have access to the sales room as well. So for those of you who don't currently have it on your plan, I highly recommend that you give a call or send an email to your rep for you to have access to the sales room. It's going to be the wonderful way for your sales team, whoever your producers are, to manage all of their sales in one location. As an agency administrator, you'll have access to looking at your sales pipeline, check out all the opportunities and what stage that they're in, see what the close ratio is for each producer, how much premium has been generated, how much commission has been generated, gain insights on whether your opportunities are new business, renewals, or rewrites. It's going to be a really great feature. In fact, I may give you guys a sneak peek of it before we leave here today, but I wanted to make sure I answered all of your questions before we left. So let's go ahead and get into the Q&A portion of today's webinar. Brittany, thank you very much for hosting this for us. We appreciate it. Let's go to the Q&A portion of today's webinar, and as soon as we get done with that, for those of you who stay on board, we'll go ahead and give you guys a sneak peek of the sales room.
All right. Well, the first question that we have here is, does the employee activity provide a sort by time of day the activity is being performed?
Okay, as of right now, no. There's no sort by time. It's done by day. So if you go to the productivity tab for the employee, you're going to see everything that's actually logged by date and time. So I'm going to go to my preferences here. In your case, you'd be searching for that employee contact. And when you go to the productivity tab, it's going to show it to you logged by date and time. But the numbers, when we're showing you the numbers, they're just for that date or that period of time. As you can see here, mine is showing as date and it's doing it descending. So it's starting from the most recent thing I did and going all the way down via date and time.
Thank you. And do they charge extra for employee time clock?
That's a great question. The employee time clock, there is no charge for that or the employee productivity feature. Every agency has access to both of those features. So right, it's available to everyone on every plan right now. So for those of you who have not been using this, hover over more, you'll both see the time clock and the employee productivity feature.
All right. When will the FSC rater integration be available?
That's a great question. We've been working very diligently to try to get all of the carriers on board to get the FSC rater integration done. We're still working very diligently with the carriers to try to get it done. It's not as easy as just trying to get one product to now work within the other product. Everything dealing with the rates and agreements, we have to go through the carrier as if it was a brand new product that's going to be using it. So we're still working very hard to try to get that done and released to you, but there is no current ETA on when that's going to be done.
Are we able to see the opportunities available on the employee productivity metrics? Like, are the metrics live?
Are the metrics live? Okay, so let's go back. I'm assuming what they mean is it real time? If you're asking if it's real time, here's what we do for you. This is being logged in the background. Everything that's being done is being logged in the background, and it's being done about every single, if I remember correctly, it's being done every single hour. So it's trying to aggregate all this information towards the end of the day. If you need to see today, you can click on today here in terms of the numbers, but it's going to show as of the most recent hour. So it's very possible that the number that you're looking at is still like an hour past due. What you can do is do a manual click and make the system go and get the most recent data by clicking here, refresh data. So it's showing you as of 6:29 at 10 a.m. on my time, which was about 2 hours ago, 2 hours and 37 minutes ago. That's the last time it's updated. So I can click refresh data, and I can have the system go and try to get the most recent data for each of my employees. And it'll show you what it's doing, that it found 2 activities that have been downloaded, then it's going to aggregate data, and it's going to show you as of the most recent activity we've been able to log for your employees is as of 12 o'clock today.
Thank you. Does the employee activity provide a, oh, I'm sorry. I think you answered that one, where he's asking if you provide a sort by time of day the activity is being performed. And then which users will have the access to this or be able to view employee comparison or time clock, etc.?
Okay, at the moment, every employee will have access to the employee productivity. They'll be able to see what they're doing and what the other employees are doing. I think it's key for the agency administrators to know that competition within the employees is probably going to be a good thing. I think there are employees that are slacking in your agency. We actually have a webinar that's going to be coming up talking about the agency health. What is the health of your actual agency? You'll find that a lot of agencies have good people. They're working really hard, and there's always that 1 or 2 people in the agency that are like dragging the agency down. This is a way to be able to show that information to those staff members in order to show them that, look, everybody in the agency is carrying their weight, everybody's working really hard, and it helps to ask the question whether or not I have the right people working here. So we're going to be talking about that a little more in our agency health checkup, but we do give access to this area for the employees. We want them to come here and look at whether or not they're doing work and see the comparisons between employees.
All right. And will certificates generated be captured separately currently? And if not, will it be in the future?
No, they are captured under the Accords Added. So as they send certificates of insurance, is doing the Accords Added category.
If the employee logs in at the beginning of the day to QQ and then doesn't use QQ for the rest of the day, will it show that the employee was logged in all day?
No, it will not. Catalyst does have a timeout period. So for those of you who don't know, in that section, I'm going to go over to the location preferences. Each location has an employee timeout. So right here, the default is 8 hours. But if you're using the employee time clock, the time clock feature is going to lower that to an hour. So even though it'll say 8 hours here, it'll be an hour. If you're not using the computer in an hour's time, the system will log you out. And that's the way that we make sure that a person doesn't log in at 5, leave the office, and the system track that they were logged in until 8 o'clock the following morning. If by 6 o'clock there hasn't been anything registered in terms of a mouse click or a movement, the system will log the person out automatically.
If I'm going to migrate from Evolution to Catalyst, will the metrics carry over from Evolution to Catalyst from the migration, or is it only capturing information initiated in Catalyst?
Yes, it's information only initiated in Catalyst.
What is ADP?
ADP is a payroll managing company. They're the ones that, well, I'm hoping I'm not confusing them with so I'm having one of those moments right now. I know that I think it's ADP, which is the payroll managing company. And then I think there is ADT, which is the security firm. That's what I just got that confused with. But they're just a payroll managing company.
Is there a way to add multiple documents already in QQ into a file?
Yes, there is. So you can do it either the way that I did it with the drag and drop, or you can do it where you just browse. So I'm going to come over to Family Fresh again. Go to the Files tab. While you're inside the folder, you can just, let me click View here, and then I can select Files and browse the computer for the files. And once that's done, I click Continue and Finish, all of those files are going to be inside this folder. Or you can do what I did where I'm already inside the folder and I drag and drop to the folder. You always know you're in a folder because you'll see the name of the folder here and you'll see files to the left of it. And that's how you can either drag and drop to the folder, or while inside the folder, again, click on Select Files, browse your computer for the files that you want added. Once you click Finish, they'll all be associated to this file, to this folder.
Can I move files out of a folder back to the Mail Files page?
Yes, you can. Great question. Yes, you can. You can come over to the file and say Remove from Folder.
Will the folders be available for the emails we have attached to the client?
Will the folders be available for the emails? I'm not sure if they're asking whether or not on the Emails tab they can also have a folder view. If that's the question, no, there is no file folder view on the Emails tab. Or if they're asking, when I go to send an email to my customer, can I attach a folder? You can't attach a folder, but you can attach the files that are within the folder.
What is Sales Room?
Okay, the sales room is going to be our way for your agency to track sales in QQCatalyst. In fact, let's go ahead and give you guys a quick preview of that. Now, while I'm bringing this up, this isn't my development environment. While I'm bringing this up, it's very important for you guys to note that anybody who has the QMax plan, a Plan 4, or the QQ Professional plan, all of you will have access to every single feature, whether there's a charge for it or not. You guys are going to have access to every new feature that we add into Catalyst. So for those of you who are not on the QMax or Plan 4 plan, at some point between adding all of the features that are, piecemeal that you can add on, you add all those up and then add them to what you're currently paying, and it makes you wonder whether or not you should just upgrade to the QMax or Plan 4 plan. But for those of you who are subscribed to Agency Intelligence, I know that there are some of you that are still on the trial version of Agency Intelligence. That trial period is coming to an end. For those of you who are subscribed to Agency Intelligence, you will have access to the sales room. And what the sales room is an area where you can manage all of your sales. So your sales team, they don't have to come into the Catalyst dashboard and go into contacts. They can try to manage everything dealing with sales directly here in the sales room. So when we do this next release, and I'm hoping that it's going to be the end of July is when we'll be finished with this, and you'll definitely want to look out for the emails that Netview sent out saying, hey, listen, we have a new webinar for Catalyst so I can walk you through all of this. Hopefully my development team isn't currently in the middle of a build. If not, you'll be able to see this. This is the way that you're going to be able to manage all of your sales in QQCatalyst. The close ratio for the agency. Let's go back a year to month end. The close ratio for the agency as a whole. How many opportunities were quoted, how many were sold, how much base premium was generated, how much total premium was generated, how much commission was generated for the agency. You're going to have, as we release this in sales room, you're going to have employee goals now. You can actually set goals for your sales team, how many policies they're expected to sell every single month, how much premium they're expected to generate, and how much commission they're expected to generate, and then you'll be able to see whether they're performing to goal. So in this case, I'm kicking butt over here. Look how many opportunities I sold versus how many I was supposed to sell. Or the agency as a whole. Let me not say me. I don't want to take credit for everybody. It's the entire agency as a whole, and also commission generated. We're 300% over our goal of commission generated. You're going to have insights on your pipeline. So the things that you have in the pipeline, regardless of the status, what are they? The opportunities that I'm given, are they for customers or prospects? So it looks like I'm rounding out a bunch of accounts here because of the 80% of my opportunities are for existing customers. So I'm doing a great job of rounding out accounts, and then I have 20% of them are for prospects. Then we try to show you your lines of business. In this case, it looks like 48% of my opportunities are personal auto. I am a personal lines agency in that case, 48%. 39% of them fall into other categories, and we'll show you what those details are. Business type, what are the majority of these opportunities? Are they new businesses, renewal, or rewrites? In this case, man, I'm doing a great job of creating new business opportunities for the agency. And then where is my agency business coming from? Where are these opportunities coming from? Right now, my agency is doing a terrible job of putting in where these opportunities are coming from because 96% of them have none. In this case, I have no insight in where I should be putting my marketing dollars. Should I be investing more in that yellow page ad or my Facebook page or the digital marketing campaign I have going on with Agency Intelligence? It's very important to know, where am I getting this business coming from? This is going to show you those kind of insights directly on this page. And then you're going to see your actual pipeline. Now, there are a lot of things on this page that you're seeing now. Remember, this is raw development environment that may not look the exact same when you actually get the feature, but you're going to see what opportunities are currently in the new opportunity phase, where you're gathering more information to get your quote, which ones have already gotten a quote requested, what's quoted, what's been proposed, and then what you've sold and what you've lost. All of this information is going to be available to you and your sales staff, and so now you're really going to be able to track sales in a way that's visual as opposed to just using the reports. And then for your sales organization, you can click on compare, and you can track to see who's tracking first in terms of premium generation. You see, I was trying to take credit for kicking butt in sales, but if you look here, we have Ross here. He's the one that's generating the most premium for the agency at $4 million, not even close to anybody else. $4 million in premium being created here by this employee with the commission. Now, again, these are the insights that we're trying to provide here. He's generated over $4 million in premium, but he's not actually generating the most commission for the agency. If this is going to be a sortable column, they're still working on that right now, but I can already see that while Cecilia has written less premium, she's generated a lot more commission for the agency, and she closes more of her deals. Now, what might be important to your agency is the premium generation versus the actual commission that's being generated. But in this case here, maybe deal size is the most important thing for you. So much premium is being generated that the average deal size for Ross is $18,000, close to 19, and for Cecilia, it's about $1,200. And that's what's coming in QQCatalyst. So I'm hoping that you guys are first off excited. We're keeping our promises to you for employee tracking so you can get more productivity out of your employees, but also a better way to track sales. I think one of the pain points for our agencies was, Dickinson, I like QQ. QQ is easy to use, but I'm supplementing it because I have to manage my sales using Salesforce. And don't get me wrong, I would say that Salesforce is probably the most widely known CRM, but I don't think agencies want to try to manage sales and supporting their customers from different platforms. So we wanted to make it easier for you to actually manage your sales. Your management system should be able to do that for you. So that's the reason why we wanted to build it in QQCatalyst and not have dependencies on another product. I'm hoping that you guys are excited about it. It's going to be released sometime in July. It's either going to be mid-July or the end of July. But everybody who's a QMax Plan 4 professional plan or has the agency intelligence module subscribed to, all of you are going to get the sales room at no additional charge. It's just going to be a part of the agency intelligence suite. And by the way, Brittany, before the next question, one of the reasons why we included it in agency intelligence is because the sales room is going to work side by side with the agency intelligence. If you have a quote that's been quoted and you say that it's been proposed and it's still not sold and you have one of the quote follow-up metrics set up, it's going to automatically feed that opportunity into your automated email campaign that goes to the customer and says, hey, we gave you a quote, we haven't written the policy yet, just following up with you and creating a task for your employee, your salesperson, to follow up on that opportunity. So they're going to work side by side, hand in hand, and we don't want you guys to have what I would like to call a incomplete experience. Every single thing that's inside the sales pipeline is going to work within agency intelligence, and it's going to be automated. It's going to be really, really great. I'm hoping that you guys are excited about it. Go ahead, Brittany.
Thank you, Dickinson. Let's see. We have a user that uses, I believe, Office 365, and okay. She said, how can we send an email out of QQ that is secure?
Great question. So one of the things that I recommend for everybody is if you do not have the email integration feature, I highly recommend that you do. The email integration feature, which is the mailroom, sends the emails using your actual email protocol, whatever that email protocol is for your email provider. That means that Catalyst won't be sending the emails on your behalf. So when we first came out with QQCatalyst and the ability to email, we subscribed with a third-party vendor to do bulk jobs for us. We didn't want for you to accidentally send 40,000 emails one day and then get locked out of your email account, because every single email provider, including Office 365, they all have a daily limit of emails that can be sent, all of them. And if you reach that limit, they're going to flag your account as spam and hold it locked for review. That's one of the reasons why we did not allow people to send emails using their own email account. However, a lot of our agencies pushed back on that and said, look, I send these emails manually daily anyway, so I'd still like that ability. So what we've done is, if you go to the email setup section, you now have the ability to tell us to let you send emails, all emails in the management system, using your actual email account. So we're not sending emails. You're just telling us what you want sent, and then we send the information over to Office 365, and 365 sends the email, or Gmail sends the email, or Yahoo, whoever your provider is. All we do is send them the content, and then they send the actual email, which is why when you send an email in Catalyst and you have the mailroom feature, all of your emails show up in the sent message folder of your email account. So it's not Catalyst sending it, it's us sending the information to your provider and your provider sending the email. So whatever their protocol is for sending emails, that's how the email is going to be sent. Now in this case, when you check off that box that says use for sending individual emails and batch email processes, that means that if your email address is set up to send bulk emails in Catalyst, every single email that's going to be sent will be sent using your Gmail, your Office 365, GoDaddy, or Yahoo account. We had to put in this authorization for you to understand. We don't know what all of the providers' limits are for sending emails daily. Some are 2,500, some are 5,000, some are 10,000. So this is you acknowledging that you've already checked with your provider what the limit is, and you're responsible in the case that your email address or your email account is flagged. as a spammer. All they got to do is do an account review, probably give you a call and say, what are you sending these emails for? And then you're going to have to go through the process of unlocking your email account. So you're going to click I agree here and then OK. From that moment forward, every single email you sent will be sent using your email provider, including your bulk jobs. Now, this is only available to the people that have the mailroom feature. So if your QMax Plan 4 Professional, you already have that feature on. For those of you who don't have it on, you would have had to subscribe to say, I want to use the mailroom feature. And don't forget that the mailroom feature isn't only about what you can do in Catalyst. In Catalyst, you can send emails using your email account, but it also allows us to sync emails from your email account into Catalyst. So if you don't want to send emails through Catalyst, that's okay. Send them through your Gmail or your Yahoo or your Outlook, and every single time an email is sent, every 5 minutes, Catalyst goes and requests emails from your email provider, and we bring them into the mailroom and try to automatically match them to your customer or your prospect. Now, the only time you're really going to have to come into the mailroom is if you don't have emails that are coming, email addresses in your customer's accounts. It's going to show there are a lot of emails that have not been matched here, and you're going to have to manually tell us which contacts those emails should be matched to. But if you have emails in your email account, then you won't have to worry about it.
All right, I think we have time for one more question. Does Mailroom accept zip files now? Earlier versions stripped them out.
Does the mailroom accept zip files? I believe we keep whatever email format we receive intact. I don't believe that we do anything in terms of removing an email because we keep them in the format that they came in. Now, what I can do, Brittany, if you can get the email address of the person who's asked that question and send that over to me, I'll speak to my development team to confirm or deny if we do anything different with zip files. But I'll definitely get the answer to that question for you. I don't believe we do anything with them, but I will confirm that.
All right. And that looks like, or do you want to take one more question?
Well, what I'll do is this. I just wanted to really stress how important it is for you guys to be part of the Netview community. There's some great conversations that happen in the Netview community concerning not only the features that we've already released, but a lot of workflow questions. Hey, how do you guys work? How do you guys decide when a person's a great employee to hire? How do you know when you have the right person in your office? What workflow do you guys use for renewal processes? Like, which steps do you guys follow for those processes? There are a lot of great discussions that are happening on the Netview forum, and I feel like they're not being taken advantage of. I really want you guys to get engaged with Netview, not only with the forum, but when we had our Netview conference, it's an amazing time of networking with existing Vertafore users. Not only to help you use the system better, because there are agents that are unlocking every single time we have a release. They are unlocking and using every single feature we have. And then we have a lot of agencies that are using the bare minimum in Catalyst. Very often I get requests through the feedback tool and now through the ideas portal. People asking us for features that are already in the management system. And these are things that are being addressed on the Netview forum. So I recommend, if you don't have access to Netview right now, I recommend that you send that email to info, I-N-F-O, at Netview, netvu.org, so they can send you credentials. There is no cost. There is no charge at all to being part of the Netview community. As a QQCatalyst subscriber, you are automatically a part of the Vertafore user Netview community. So I recommend that you send that email and get engaged. We're going to be posting a lot of webinars that are going to be coming up in these next couple of months through the Netview community. So you're going to be seeing those things pop up. You're going to see emails saying, hey, QQ is getting ready to do another webinar for you to register. We are going to also do in-product shout-outs, but the emails are going to be the things that you guys get first. So I highly recommend that you engage with us on the community, and hopefully we can catch you on the next webinar.
Thank you, Dickinson. This was a wonderful presentation, and thanks everybody for joining us today. Again, this session was recorded, and it will be placed in Netview University for your convenience, and we'll be sending that link out to everyone that joined us today, as well as posting it in InCom, like Dickinson was saying earlier. And I hope everybody has a great day, and hopefully we'll see you next time.